Hello everyone, I'm Samuel and this is Just Gaming for Fun, and today I want to share the top 30 Xbox One games I believe you should play if you are new to the Xbox ecosystem and to Game Pass. A lot of people skipped the Xbox One last gen, and because of that you may have missed out on some really fun games. Since now you have an Xbox Series X or S, you need to catch up on what you missed out last gen. So I'm going to share with you 30 Xbox One games I feel you should play on your brand new Xbox Series X or S. Most of these games are exclusive to the Xbox in the console market, but if you're on PC, you should also be able to play all these games as well. If all you had was a PS4, there is a good chance you missed out on most of these games, and that's no good. As a gamer, you need to play as many killer games as you can, and that's what I'm going to try to help rectify. So since my list consists of 30 games, I'm going to split them up to a 3-part video series. This is part 1, which will go over number 30 through 21, part 2 will include 20 through 11, and part 3 will include 10 through 1. Before we start, I want to mention a couple of disclaimers for the videos. 1. These 30 games are the games that I personally chose to recommend, so I'm sorry if there is a game that you enjoyed that didn't make the list. It doesn't mean that the game isn't good or worth playing, it just means I don't feel like it's essential to the Xbox brand. In fact, there are a few games on this list that I don't really care for, but these games are well liked and are important to the Xbox brand. Just because I didn't care for them doesn't mean others won't. The list only contains games that released last gen for the Xbox One. This isn't about new games from this gen or 360 and original Xbox games. This is strictly for the Xbox One games. If you're coming over to Xbox from having a PS4 last gen, then this list is perfect for you. 3. A handful of these games showed up on the PS4 as well, but I feel they are so good you should play them here if you skip these titles on the PS4. 4. And while I know there are a lot of awesome EA games on Game Pass now, this video isn't about those. So no EA games will show up on this list. That's a different list for a different video. 5. This list only contains games that are on Game Pass. There are some awesome Xbox One games that for some reason are not on Game Pass as of yet. So that is why those games are not showing up on this list. For example, Dead Rising 3 is a fantastic game, but it's not currently on Game Pass. So it's not going to be in any of these videos. Even though it is an Xbox One game worth playing, it's just not going to be in these videos because it's not on Game Pass. So now that we got all of that out of the way, so let's get to the top 30 Xbox One games you should play on Game Pass if you're new to the Xbox. Starting with number 30. Number 30, Wasteland 3. Here is an interesting title. Wasteland 3 is an isometric squad-based turn-based RPG. It's basically an old school RPG but updated enough to feel more modern than its predecessors. It takes place in a post-apocalyptic Colorado. If you're into classic Fallout rather than what the modern Fallouts have been, then Wasteland 3 might be what you're looking for. In Wasteland 3, every choice matters. Make the right choice and you will be rewarded. Make the wrong choices and your characters are going to suffer for it. The world and story will be affected by what choices you make on your adventures. Graphics are really good for this style of game, and while the game may have a steep learning curve to get over, Wasteland 3 does a good job teaching you how to play. It's unlike anything I've ever played before. The reason it is at number 30 is just because it's not really my type of game. I couldn't really come to grasp with the gameplay style, but I know there is a good game there. So seeing that we are all different, I felt it belonged on here. But just because I didn't like it doesn't mean you won't. So give it a shot. It's on Game Pass. Number 29, Rare Replay. While technically these games are not Xbox One games, this whole package was released for the Xbox One, so it counts. Rare Replay is a collection of 30 games from Rare's back catalog. Games like Battletoads from the NES, to Banjo, Conquer, Killer Instinct Gold, and Perfect Dark from the N64, and Viva Pinata from the 360. There are a lot of games here to check out. If you're a retro gamer who loved these games back in the day, this is a great way to relive some of those best Rare games of all time. It's also great for young modern gamers who have heard stories about these classics but never got to experience them for themselves. Now, of course, this collection isn't perfect because my favorite Rare games are not in the collection, but that's for obvious reasons. Obviously, this collection wasn't allowed to include Donkey Kong Country or Diddy Kong Racing. And for some reason, there is no GoldenEye either, which I'm not sure why, and no Killer Instinct 1 and 2. But you don't have to worry about that. Killer Instinct 1 and 2 are on Game Pass, so you're still good to play those. Another odd admission is that while Conker's Bad Fur Day is on the list, I feel they should have included the original Xbox remake, Conker Live and Reloaded. That game is gorgeous. The only downside about that game is that it's censored. It would have been the perfect time to correct that and remove those censors, but it didn't happen, so can't do anything about it, and it's just a shame, really. Other than that, Rare Replay is truly a great collection, especially if you grew up with these games on the N64, and luckily it's available on Game Pass for you to enjoy. Number 28, ReCore Definitive Edition. ReCore may not be groundbreaking, and it may be a bit repetitive, but damn, I really enjoyed what I played from this game. ReCore is an action-adventure open-world game where you can build robotic companions to help you on your adventure. You also get to build color-based weapons that need to be switched back and forth depending on the enemies you're fighting. In ReCore, there is a lot of exploring, crafting, puzzles, solving, and fighting. The characters have a nice charm, especially my robot doggy. He's so cute, and I found the world to be rather interesting. Graphically, the game is very pretty. The third-person gunplay works rather well. I had no problem getting straight into the combat and kicking some ass. It was really fun being able to double jump and boost around the world while fighting, and all of this combat leads to some exciting moments. I feel ReCore is truly an underrated hidden gem. It's a shame it didn't get more attention. Sure, it's not perfect, but why does every game need to be a freaking masterpiece nowadays? Some games are just, at the middle level, but they're fun as hell. And that's ReCore. It's a hard game to sell people on because it's not very typical, but if you have Game Pass, you don't have to buy it and take a risk on it. You can just download it right now and just give it a shot. Who knows, you just may enjoy it. I know I did. Number 27, State of Decay 2. Now here's a game that I feel doesn't need much of an introduction. State of Decay 2 is an open world zombie survival game. If you want to explore a world where you have to hunt and find material to craft weapons and defenses so you can take care of all your companions at your home, all while having to explore the world, sneaking around and defending against zombies while trying to survive this post-apocalyptic zombie infested world, then State of Decay 2 is for you. It truly is the ultimate zombie survival experience. If you love films like Night of the Living Dead or shows like The Walking Dead, you're gonna feel right at home here. While exploring, you can find other characters and choose to let them stay at your base depending if you think their skills will be beneficial to your survival. You're trying to build up a settlement for you and your fellow companions. It's your job to keep them safe and alive. They need shelter, food, weapons, and the only way to get all this is by exploring these zombie infested lands and taking your chances out there. But you need to be careful. There is permadeath, and once a character dies, you will lose that person forever, along with all their skills. And that includes your character as well. This adds some real life depth to the game. Each character only has one life, and once they're gone for good. This makes the game truly scary while exploring because you never know whether you will survive or not. Each time you step out of your settlement, it is a risk. State of Decay 2 is aimed as a multiplayer game, but it can easily be played by yourself if that's the kind of experience you want. All in all, State of Decay has become a staple for the Xbox brand, and with State of Decay 3 coming soon, it will be interesting to see where the series is headed next. Number 26, Sea of Thieves. Speaking of open world multiplayer games, here is Sea of Thieves by Rare. Now, I'm going to be honest, this is not a game I'm qualified to talk about because I sucked at it. but at the same time, I didn't really give it a chance to fully understand how to play Sea of Thieves. My wife and I tried it out, and we played for maybe 40 minutes to an hour, and in that time, we didn't know how to steer the ship, and by the time we found out, it was weird, and then we went to an island, and then we were killed by some skeletons. Safe to say that I never went back to it after that. But that was my experience. A lot of gamers absolutely love Sea of Thieves, for good reasons. The game is gorgeous, especially the ocean. I have never seen a game with better water physics. And this is not the same game that launched, that had very little content. Rare has constantly updated this game to where it's a full-fledged game with a huge open world with tons of quests and sights to see, and many players to raid and steal from, and many monsters to kill. There are some amazing events like hunting the Kraken. You can play by yourself, but you might have a hard time getting anywhere. So it's best to play with the crew. Oh, and make sure that crew is trustworthy. This is a world full of pirates. Sea of Thieves is insane and should not be missed. At least give it a shot if you're not fully sure if it's for you. Number 25, Quantum Break. So a lot of Xbox One games are underrated gems. And here's another one. Quantum Break is crazy good, and it is extremely unique. In between missions, you get to see episodes from the show that corresponds to what you did in the mission prior. Graphics are amazing, gameplay is smooth and solid, the combat is fast and strategic thanks to the time freeze mechanic. Battles can get really hectic. The story and characters are well done as well. Voice acting and animations are top notch. This game is truly something else. I'm dead serious. If this came out on the PS4, Sony fans would have considered this a classic, but since it's on Xbox, people shat on it, which isn't fair, but what are you gonna do? So yeah, Quantum Break is a game you don't want to skip out on. I don't quite like it as much as Alan Wake, and to be honest, I'm not a fan of being interrupted by the live action show segments, but it's different and I can't hate on them for that. Seriously, if you never played Quantum Break, you need to. It's really fun, thanks to the awesome combat, and who doesn't love a good time traveling story? If you have Game Pass, there's no reason not to check this one out. Number 24, Minecraft Dungeons. Do you like Minecraft? How about Diablo? If you said yes to either one of those, then Minecraft Dungeons is for you. You may think this is just some kiddie easy version of Diablo, and surprisingly, that is not entirely true, because while the opening of the game is quite laughably easy, and at moments very plain, once you raise the difficulty, Minecraft Dungeons shows no mercy. The screen will fill up with foes, and if you're not bringing your A game, you will die in seconds. Yeah, it's no joke. I wanted a challenge, but wasn't sure if I would get it from this game, but rest assured, it does bring it. In Minecraft Dungeons, you're able to collect loot in hope of improving your character. You'll get swords, shields, bow and arrows, and epic armor, and much more. Armor also has special abilities tied to each piece, and these abilities can change the way you play. Sure, the RPG system isn't very in-depth, and for me it's lacking a class system, but this is a very fun dungeon crawler. I'm not a fan of Minecraft per se, because I don't really like crafting in games, and that's pretty much what Minecraft is about, but I've always liked the aesthetics of Minecraft. So Minecraft Dungeons is perfect for me. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on Minecraft Dungeons, I have a video review of that game, so go check that out if you want to. Number 23, Soul Calibur 6. Okay, seriously, who doesn't love Soul Calibur? Or at the very least, doesn't enjoy the occasional fighting game? I know I do, and it's been a while since I really dug deep into a Soul Calibur title. But this one is as tight and fantastic as past entries, if not more so. The problem with a lot of fighting games is that the single player experiences is all but an afterthought. But not in Soul Calibur 6. There are two single player modes. One is a new story mode known as Soul Chronicle, which recounts events from the first Soul Calibur. Then after you're done with that, you also have a Libra of Souls, which is a different story mode where you create your own character and embark on a new journey. But besides that, it still has modes you expect, like arcade, versus, training mode, and character creation returns as well, which is always welcomed. And of course, for modern gamers, you have online modes such as ranked and unranked. Lots of classic and new characters added to the roster, and the special guest characters are awesome as well, such as Geralt from The Witcher and 2B from Nier Automata. What it comes down to is that Soul Calibur is a finely crafted fighting game. It's fun and it's beautiful to look at. It's on PlayStation as well, but as all third-party games, I prefer them on Xbox because of the superior controller. 22. Resident Evil 7. If you yearn for classic survival horror games, then Resident Evil 7 should have you covered. While most modern entries in Resident Evil have been leaning towards action, Resident Evil 7 takes it right back to its horror roots. You'll be slowly creeping your way through this scary house in the middle of nowhere, trying to save your missing girlfriend, all while trying to stay alive and keep away from members of the Baker family. It feels a lot like the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, and yeah, this game is creepy as hell, and it's all helped with the fact that it is in first person, which isn't really a direction I like for the series, but that's what modern gamers like, I suppose. But hey, it does work, so it achieved its desired effect. While playing Resident Evil 7, you'll be managing your items and only taking what is needed to survive at the moment. In tone and feel, it sure does feel like the classic Resident Evil games, except for the camera. But all in all, if you grew up with the series, you should love Resident Evil 7. And on Xbox, the game looks and runs beautifully. Number 21, Gears of War 4. Now we get to the next chapter in the Gears series. With Gears of War 4, an all-new threat has emerged, and this time we have a new cast of soldiers who have taken upon themselves to stop this unrelenting foe. Gears 4 has the same gameplay we all know and love, which is fantastic because if something works, then there is no need to mess with it unless you're going to improve on it. Gears 4 is a beautiful game. Seriously, it does not get the credit it deserves when it comes to its visuals. At moments, it's jaw-dropping. In Gears 4, you'll be fighting your typical locusts, but now there are plenty of new types of monsters to chainsaw your way through in this epic adventure. Plus, you'll also be fighting robots known as DBs, and while legendary weapons such as the Lancer and Gnasher return, there is a good variety of new weapons to use as well. Now, while I did enjoy Gears 4 because the gameplay is fun, I would be doing a disservice if I said I liked these new characters, or even really cared about this story and missions. This new trio of characters aren't necessarily bad, but they are painfully bland. They don't have the awesome personality of Delta Squad. JD's okay, but he's bland. Kate is okay for now, and Del is basically a Nickelodeon / Disney character. He points out stupid shit while trying to make it humorous, and he fails miserably at it. If it wasn't for the fact that Marcus is with you most of the game, it would have been hard to get through the story. Some missions, like the first mission, are painfully bland and boring, but after that, the game picks up. Overall, I think Gears 4 is fine, and it is still fun to play through. But I'm just not a fan of these characters. They feel forced instead of feeling authentic. Like typical modern characters, they just bitch, complain, and they are not funny when they are trying to be. If you can get past the new trio, Gears 4 is a fun game. Thankfully, it keeps the classic gameplay. Even with all my complaints, I still think it's worth playing, especially if you're gonna play Gears 5 later on. You might as well play Gears 4 first. Okay, so that is all for today's video. That covers number 30 through 21. In the next video, I will be showing you number 20 through 11. The Xbox One had a lot of awesome games released during its life, and it's a shame a lot of people didn't get to experience any of those games. Hopefully, that will change with this new generation. And now, with GamePass, it's even easier than ever to play all of these games without having to go out and buy all of them. I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the top 30 Xbox One games to play on Game Pass if you're new to the Xbox. I hope to see you back in the next video for the top 20 games. Please make sure to leave a like and share the video around if you enjoyed it. If you want to see more content, make sure to subscribe. And if you want to chat or just see what's on my thoughts, follow me on Twitter. I'm usually on there a lot. So until next time, enjoy your new Xbox, explore and enjoy Game Pass. And as always, keep on gaming, gamers. Bye.